If these 6 things are put in place, Nigeria will of no doubt have one of the largest economy in the world. Hello, my name is Geoffrey and I'm glad to have you here today. Amidst other things, if you can do these 6 things, it will mark the end of hardship in Nigeria. Number 1, effective price control. The Federal Corporation and Consumer Protection Commission is an agency that controls the market price. They determine how much a product should cost in the market. They analyze the production cost and determine the profit range for a product. And the production company cannot put a profit beyond certain percentage or certain amount on a particular product. But nowadays, as we all know, corruption has invaded the country. Most of the time, this production company gives this agency something in order to close their mouth. And then they decide anytime they want to increase the market price, anytime they want to increase the cost of a product, they can escalate the price of any product at any time and at will, simply because this agency are not doing their work effectively. If our agency can control the price of things in the market, it will reduce how much producers increase the cost of a product, which will reduce the cost of things in Nigeria, which will facilitate or propagate our economic growth. Number 2, control monopoly and encourage new businesses. Monopoly is a situation where only few individuals control the market. It's where few individuals are the main or sole producers of certain products. Like for example, if I own an AC company now, if I decide to increase the cost of my products, if citizen doesn't have an option, they will be forced to buy that product at that higher cost. But if there are much competitors in the market, citizens will have option to buy from other people, which will compel me to reduce the cost of my product in order to regain back my customers. That is how the market works. If there are a lot of competitors, things will be less expensive than when there are only few producers in the market. That is why monopoly contributes to inflation, because of increase in the cost of things in the market. If this thing can be tackled, or if this situation can be addressed, it will contribute to our economic growth, which will help our country in a significant way. Number 3, controlling external investment. What do I mean by controlling external investment? Nigeria is a country that has many rich and wealthy people, of which only few of them invest in the country. Most of our rich people in Nigeria invest in countries abroad like Dubai and many other countries across the globe, because we don't have a policy that controls how much a citizen can invest outside the country. But in some countries like US, UK, Germany, Canada, France, and many other countries, they have a policy that controls how much their citizens can invest outside the country, because it's investment that contributes to economic growth. Let me give an example. Before 2000, Dubai was a desert. That was when the president of Dubai, Mohammed bin Rashid, decided to make Dubai one of the richest countries in the world by creating an opportunity for investment where many people from across the globe invested in Dubai. And that is why Dubai today become one of the biggest cities and a tourist in the world. If Nigeria could control how much their citizens can invest outside, which compels citizens to start investing in their country, because most of our rich people in Nigeria invest outside their country in trillions and billions of naira. If this money were to be invested in our country, 2 things will happen. 1, it will generate revenue to the country, and secondly, it will create job opportunity for citizens. And all these 2 things will contribute to our economic growth, of which is one of the biggest problems we are having in this country. Number 4, increasing tax and interest rate. When there is inflation, the government tends to take a measure to control the excessive amount of money flowing in the country. Because during inflation, the CBN tend to print much money, and people tend to have much money in their hand, and it contributes to devaluation of our currency. Then in order to address this situation, the government tends to increase tax and interest rate. It increased tax in order to reduce the amount of money people receive or the amount of money the CBN prints. And also they increase interest rate to reduce the amount of money people borrow from the bank, because the CBN will impose on the commercial banks to increase interest rate, because our interest rate is around 4.5 to 5%. I think it's 5% now. Then the CBN will impose the commercial banks to increase the interest rate so that people will reduce borrowing of money from the bank in order to control the inflation. Number 5, control importation rate. This thing cannot be overemphasized. When there is excess importation into your country, it tends to reduce the value of the country currency. That is why if you over-import things into the country, it leads to devaluation of our currency. That is why previously our former president did something like that. He closed border in order to reduce the importation rate. But when people start to feel a little bit of inconvenience, many people start protesting, the citizens start crying out. That is why one person cannot deliver a country. It takes everybody to save or deliver a country. And also he didn't succeed because that singular act cannot control inflation. It takes many things put in place to control inflation. That is why if importation is reduced, our citizen tends to consume the homemade product, which will encourage our companies to start producing more things on higher quantity and also generate job opportunity for our citizens and generate revenue to the country. Number 6, encourage exportation. When a country starts producing or manufacturing things on a larger scale, where the country is exporting it outside the country, it increases to our economical growth massively. Simply because anything exported outside the country, whether by the government or individual person, it generates our revenue because the government charges for everything that is exported outside the country. That is why the government has to start building companies or encouraging citizens that have invention or companies to give them a good environment in order to start exporting things outside the country. If these 6 things are put in place, Nigeria will have one of the largest economies in the world. Simply because we have what it takes to be among the richest country in the world, because we have the mineral resources. If we can utilize what we have, we will be one of the richest countries, not only in Africa, but in the world.